Boylston. Please welcome Rachel Moore.
Hello, my name is Rachel Moore, and I am a MindMatters team member at Tohoto Regional High School. I believe the best way to talk about mental health is with real situations, real people, and real stories. So I'll be sharing the stories of myself and some classmates to allow you to truly see what teenagers are going through. I guess I should start with myself. I am a success story. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety last year, halfway through the school year. I lost all motivation and couldn't bear to do homework after school. And when school became too much, I would skip classes or full days. The worst part, nobody noticed. Not a single one of my teachers came looking for me in the library or even sent me an email asking why I wasn't there. I didn't matter in their sea of students. It's like I didn't even exist. I had to go to the guidance counselors myself, asking for help. If I hadn't advocated for myself and gotten the help I needed, I don't even know if anyone would know I was struggling. My teachers, my parents, even the school administration, I would have failed sophomore year, and I almost did. I was going to maybe 2 classes a day, and nobody stopped me. Think of all the students out there afraid to ask for help, afraid of reaching out. Sometimes depression can feel like a blanket, comforting to always be known. Sometimes I felt scared to even feel better, to feel emotions again. Think of the people who are in that exact spot right now. They're scared. It breaks my heart. That's why advocating for mental health awareness, not only in students, but teachers and parents, is so important to me. Because I know how hard it is to seek help. And I know that if you don't ask for yourself, you might never get that help. Eventually, I found the right people and the right strategies, and I got better. Now I focus on helping others because I know what they're going through and can empathize with exactly what they're feeling and give them advice to help me. MindMatters has helped me connect with people who also believe in the same things I do, and working with Shine has been such a privilege. It helps us to be able to advocate for people struggling with mental health and gives us resources to help us become better supporters for others, or sometimes better supporters for ourselves. And now I'll read some of my classmates' experiences. This is Sadie's story. She says that, I believe that mental health is something that is often pushed aside, especially for those who have high-functioning mental illnesses. Growing up, my schedule was often packed to the brim, which caused me not to recognize the issues I was going through. Self-reflection and breaks from the so-called chaos has allowed me to see what I'm going through and find coping mechanisms. This is Zoe's story. I feel that it is important for people to remember that mental health is not just a feeling. It's a chemical imbalance of the brain. I have suffered from anxiety before I could read. I was not doing this for attention. It took me a very long time to seek help because it's hard to admit that you need it. I eventually did, and I'm doing better, but coping mechanisms, therapy, and medication doesn't make the mental illness go away. Remember, 7 billion of us experience today in a different way, and even your closest friends have a chapter that they don't read aloud. My advice, be kind. This is Chloe's story. My experience with mental health has been a long, windy road. On this road, I drove up and down hills, stopped, slowed down, and sped past the speed limit. Without these human beings in my life that I love so dearly, I don't know how I could possibly get through the eating disorders, anxiety, and depression. However, the most painful thing is knowing that there are so many people that are scared to get help. I was blind to so many people. I was blind to the closest person in my life. When I found out that this friend was going through this mental health issues, I couldn't believe how I didn't see it before. I want people who are suffering in silence to know that you are not a burden. You are not weak. You are loved. Mental health issues are not a result of personal weakness or flaws, and it's not something you can just snap out of. Mental health isn't a myth. I wish I had opened my ears and listened for those silent cries. This is an anonymous story. Mental health is an important subject that is often not addressed enough. I always thought since I got good grades and had a pretty good family dynamic at home, then I could not be depressed, or else I was just being dramatic. I was taught to be grateful for what I had, and whenever life throws your way, you have to learn how to deal with it. I was at my breaking point last year, and I used school as an escape from having to think about my friend who attempted suicide. While most of the time I dreaded having to wake up for school, it kept me distracted. I pretended as if everything was okay and became a pro at concealing my emotions. I started to develop unhealthy coping mechanisms, and I would go days without sleeping or eating. Every time my friend would relapse, I would as well, and I was only okay when they were getting better. I became obsessed with doing well in school because my grades were the only thing in my life I had control over. There came a time when I didn't even recognize myself, so I started opening up to some close friends about how mentally and physically drained I was. With their support, I was able to get out of that dark place. I wish I had sought help sooner because I did things I'm not proud of. but we have to learn from our mistakes in order to grow. Regardless of whether you're suffering from depression, anxiety, an eating disorder, or any others, it does not indicate weakness on your part if you seek help. Telling someone that you are struggling is the first step in getting better, and to do that alone, you should be proud of yourself because that takes a lot of courage. And this is Miss Gardner, our club advisor's story. When I heard about Shine, I immediately knew I wanted this for my students at Tohoto. I myself work with a mental illness that was not diagnosed until much later. During that time, any mental illness was hush-hush. At 17, I was given medication and still not told exactly what was going on with my health. It was wrong. More importantly, my mission is to educate students and teachers about mental health, is connected with my son. At 19, he attempted suicide. His pain touched his friends and family to the core. I thank God every day that he survived, but always struggled with the what if he was given the tools to cope. You see, in retrospect, he explained to me that he thought everyone felt the way he did. He did not know he was suffering from a mental illness, nor did he know that there was help. But what if he had? What if his school educated youth on signs of struggle? What if he was given tools to cope or seek help? Although we can never change the past, we can work to change the future. If we had prevent one student, son, daughter, friend from going through this struggle alone, we have accomplished our mission. And the ripple effect of this change, in turn, will affect so many more. This is what Shine means to me. In conclusion, here are some things we would like everyone to know. Mental health is not always visible. You never know what someone else is going through. It's a medical condition. We can't just turn a switch and feel better. It can affect the A student, the star athlete, or the silent student in the back of the class. Everyone experiences mental health differently, and there is no set path. Please bear with us. Our generation wants to end a lot of the stigma around mental health, but the task cannot be completed without the help and support from the adults in our lives and community. We want to say thank you to Shine and our supporters for helping us on our journey, and thank you everyone for being here tonight listening.